Hi, this is Dr. Akiva Belk, teacher, author, and director of JewishPath.org, and now Peers to Sages Gematria Pursuit. Our aim is to help people, everyday people, our peers, to enjoy and explore Gematria, names, numbers, letters, and words, Hebrew scripture codes, and easy to learn Hebrew scripture blessings, praise, and more. So to speak, we feed off of each other. Mishlei, that's Proverbs 11:25 says, a soul is blessed with abundance and is also refreshed because he or she refreshes others. We have a request. Please share your areas of interest with us so our productions will be more of a blessing. Our discussion begins with the word tikva. Tikva means hope, expectation. When former President Donald J. Trump was the Republican candidate for president in the 2024 election, he made some promises, provided he won the election. Well, Trump Republicans won the presidency, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the majority of votes in America. As a result, expectations have risen through America, Israel, Ukraine, and many other places in the world. Now what? What will happen on day one when President-elect Trump takes the oath of office? Will our hopes and expectations be dashed? I hope not. Speaking of hope, even though the word tikva, which means hope, expectation, the word is not written anywhere in the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. Is that odd? Is that strange? I don't think so. Why? Hope is all around us. The Gematria of Tikva is 511. And if you look there, we have a posting which shows how the Gematria is figured. Tikva flows from the right to the left. That means that there's the 400, the 100, the 6, and the 5, going from right to the left. How do we know this? Scripture shares about the right hand of the Lord. Tehillim, Psalms 118:16 says, the right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord is triumphant. Exodus, Shemot 15:6 says, your right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. Your right hand, O Lord, has dashed in pieces the enemy. Isaiah 41:10 says, I will uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness. Now, let's notice the 3rd and 4th letters of the word tikva. You'll notice that they're highlighted in red. The final 2 letters of Hashem's name. So if we know how to spell Hashem's name, that's the Yud Hey, the Vav Hey, we don't pronounce it because it's so holy. But we notice that the last two letters in the Lord's name is Vav He. And the last two letters in hope and expectation in Tikva is Vav He as well. When we look at the Parshat Vigiash, which is in Bereshit, Genesis 44:18 through 47:27, we notice that the very first word in Genesis 44:18 is Vigiash, and that means to come near, that he came near. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to look at a comparison in this particular parshat to why hope is everywhere. Dear ones, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers. They wanted to kill him because of his dreams. He was put in a pit of vipers. He was sold into slavery. He was purchased by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard. And why was he purchased? For sexual purposes. We know that he was falsely accused of adultery. He was thrown into prison. Yet, hope was all around. That doesn't sound like it. The Lord was with Joseph and caused him to prosper. Joseph was made overseer in Potiphar's estate. Later, when Joseph was falsely accused and was placed in prison, it wasn't long until he was in charge of all the prisoners. Again, we see the Lord was with Joseph and caused him to prosper. Over the course of time, Joseph becomes the viceroy of Egypt. So we have this struggle here. On the one hand, we see all the difficult things Joseph faced and went through. And on the other, we see all the many blessings he received. Now, Joseph would be married to a young woman, and she is the point of another amazing story that accompanies hope is everywhere. When Jacob moved from the Mesopotamia area to Eretz Canaan, his daughter, Dinah, went out. She was like her mother, Leah, and she wanted to see the young woman and check him. However, she was accosted by Prince Shechem. He took Dinah to his palace and violated her. Later, Dinah has a baby. That caused some problems for Dinah and for Jacob's family. Dinah's brothers, they were concerned about their righteous image. What will people think? That's how it is sometimes. The Midrash informs us that they forced their father, Jacob, to abandon his granddaughter. She was placed under a bush near the wall in Egypt with an amulet around her neck that stated she was a granddaughter of Jacob. Potiphar one day was walking outside the wall and he heard a child crying. He had one of his attendants retrieve the child and he read the amulet that stated he was that she was a descendant of Abraham's family, that she was a descendant of Abraham's family. He instructed his attendant to take the child to his home, to his estate, because she was from a very prestigious and important family. His wife raised her as her own daughter. And if you would like the references for these subjects that I'm discussing, I'll post them at the conclusion of this video. Her name was Asnat, Aleph, Semek, Nun, Tav, and she became the wife of Joseph. Pharaoh appointed her to be the wife of Joseph. Why is that? Well, there was this little thing about Potiphar and his wife accusing Joseph falsely, and that Joseph went to prison. So it needed to be worked out. And since they had a single daughter, Pharaoh said, I want Joseph to marry Asenat. And so we find out that her name is also the Gematria of 511, that there's a relationship between Tikva and Asenat. If we look at the word Asenat, notice the first and the last letters. The Aleph, which is the first letter of the alphabet, and the Tav, which is the last letter of the alphabet, represent the beginning, Aleph, the end, the Tav. And this is a condition of implying everything in between. Nothing is left out entirely, completely. And again, if you would like some more information about this, I'll post a reference to a book by Rabbi Michael Monk at the conclusion of our discussion. Notice the center two letters, the Samic and the Nun. The two letters equal 110. Now, what's so special about 110? Well, Genesis 50:22 informs us that Joseph died at the age of 110. And wouldn't you know, Samic equals 60 and Nun equals 50. 110. Ooh, this should be coming eerie now. So we see in this Gematria the enclosure of the alphabet, the enclosure of the mitzvot of HaTorah, or we could say hope is all around us. And we see that hope because the Lord is with Joseph in every move, and the Lord was with Dinah's daughter, Ashnat, in every move. We even see it in the center of her name. Now that we have concluded that hope is everywhere, it's not so big of a deal that Tikva isn't written in the first 5 books of Moses. The point is that Tikva is all around us, that we're surrounded by hope and expectation. Now, dear ones, I'm going to ask you to join our family of subscribers if this video has been a blessing to you. So please partner with us by clicking subscribe.